Join us for a review of the new VW Tiguan R. Let's go! Here in the front, the Tiguan Facelift introduces a stronger front hood. You can see it right here. It's more upright, and also the front grille leads over to the headlamps, so a nicer integration. And then here the R. The R model also gets a stronger spoiler, for example, in the lower part. Bigger air intakes right here, really massive. Contrasting black spoiler here in the high gloss black. The length is at 4 meters 51 or 178 inches. And so the VW Tiguan is still a compact SUV, well, or a mid-size SUV depending on the definition. The thing is that the exterior dimensions are still somewhat in a way that you can find a parking spot or so. However, it already has a lot of space on the inside. We'll check it out in the interior review. Here, the R model now, special features. Get an R badging right here, then contrasting mirror caps in this matte silver finish, really beautiful. 20-inch wheels would be already standard for the R model, and these are even bigger, 21-inch wheels. Never thought that we have 21-inch wheels for a Volkswagen Tiguan, and really impressive styling. In the rear, the Tiguan Facelift introduces these new tail lamps here that look a little bit more modern, and the special sporty R model, the badge right here, also with this new R logo. You know, a while ago they changed the logo for the whole R family. And in the lower part then you have the shiny gloss contrast once again in this diffuser style here in the lower end. And you also get a sports exhaust from standard, but these here are the optional Akrapovic exhaust for even more sound punch. Under the hood we have a 2-liter TSI turbo petrol engine, 4-cylinder, 320 horsepower, all-wheel drive, front plus rear on-demand concept. And the acceleration figure to 1 kilometers or 62 miles an hour is just less than 5 seconds, or a little less than 5 seconds. So that's of course pretty powerful for this segment. And there's also a new torque vectoring available for the rear axle. So not only distribution front to rear, but also between the wheels in the rear. So for example, let's say we're going in a left corner, then the right outer wheel can receive more torque than the other side. So you're getting basically pushed out of the corner. So then I get inside, and the cool thing about the Tiguan is it's not such a big SUV on the exterior, but you already have a very roomish feeling on the interior, and these R sport seats are really amazing. They offer you some side support in the lower area and in the upper area, but still, we with one with 86 or 6.1 have enough space to move in it. The fabric will stay cool in summer and warm in winter. The microfiber is also cozy and more premium feeling in the top part. So this seat indeed fulfills both purposes, comfort and sportiness. And here a lot of headroom is still left. You can also go for a panoramic roof. That would reduce the headroom a little bit, but still it would be really substantial, no problem as for that. You have special shifting pedals here also, and then the steering wheel can be moved up and down and in and out like this, so you find a very good seating position here. To me, at this size here, the Tiguan is the most comfortable SUV, I think. At this size, more comfortable would only be when you go for bigger SUVs. And once again, I think this sport seat, I mean, the base seats are also good, but the sport seat here maybe even improves the comfort, at least as for me. So, what you can say here in the front from seating is A+. Interior overview, soft touch dashboard here. There's an additional cubby over here in the top part. That's quite funny. You see basic Tiguan, not too fancy, but here the R model then gets this special new steering wheel with the shifting pedals and the R logo we shown to you. From this perspective, very interesting also with the perforation here. But then again, this capacitive buttons here, heated steering wheel in 3 levels, that's a cool function, but there is some kind of a feedback, yes. You also hear that, but the feedback is not really that distinctive, and you can press or slide. So in 2 ways you can use this. Switch the view here for the digital instruments, zoom or deals with that and also do that. And on the left side then with the R mode button that sets everything on the race, DCC, and also the throttle input and so on. And then the adaptive cruise control here on the left side. While driving, using it, it's really a hassle to do that. So that's visually a step forward, but from the control input a step backward. Analog screens would be sent for a normal Tiguan. Here the R automatically gets the 10-inch digital instruments. On the right side, you would in a base Tiguan have 6.5, then 8-inch would be standard for the Tiguan R already, and for mid-trim or like mid-trim Tiguans. And this one here is the option 9.2 without any button. You have gesture function, which sometimes likes to function, sometimes not. And the 8-inch one, I recommend the base one, because here then you still have a manual volume knob and also this zoom knob for the GPS. Digital instruments, you can change what you want to see in the middle, for example, also part of the map, or you can make it all the way full screen. That's of course the biggest advantage of these digital instruments. Pretty nice. And then you can also zoom in and out in the map with sliding on these new capacitive buttons. But once again, it's really harder to control them now. And there's plenty of legroom left. Again, the package of this vehicle is really good because we have only the transverse engine mount in the front, this MQB platform, so plenty of legroom left and also plenty of headroom left. Why would you go for such a performance SUV to have a practical sports car? Here then with the electric hatch and also with a lot of room right here. You can also put a replacement tire there if you like, and just put a cabin trolley inside. You can see you have a lot of space indeed. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the new Tiguan R, and even if you're in a normal driving mode here roundabout, you already feel that this car is sportier than the base Tiguan. But when you really keep it, steady and slow, you still have the comfort of a base Tiguan. That's no problem. Of course, with the 21-inch wheels, you lose some comfort, but still, since we have the DCC dynamic chassis control, it's somewhat okay. Let's put it to the R mode, this race mode. I have activated here on the steering wheel, and also then get the feedback in the infotainment screen. And when I accelerate out, let's see. And that's almost 80 kilometers an hour. You see that works very well, and this torque vectoring also gives me a better push out of the corner. That's really cool. So the outside wheel gets a little bit more torque than the inside wheel, and that helps to turn it around basically. Here also then left and right, really good precise steering. I like that. It's a progressive steering. You don't have to steer that much. It's but also comfortable for the normal everyday use. And again, there's no dead zone area, really precise from the steering. That's probably the one thing that I like almost best. Together then with this upright seating position, which is good for the overview, but still the sport seats then give you the sporty side of it. So I really like this mix this car is presenting. So on the one hand, you have the sportiness with the drivetrain and the sport seats, and suspension is stiffer, definitely, but on the other hand, still a good comfort here from this, upright Tiguan driving. And at any time you can hit the throttle and you get the power, or use the shifting pedals, shift back yourself, pull up, and you have also then the DSG manual controlled, so to speak. And when you shift back yourself, you sometimes also have these DSG farts and like this blubbering from the Acropolis exhaust, and here in this case. Hold the right pedal to go to the auto shifting mode once again, and when you're on the R driving mode, you're also in this S shifting mode. That means that the gears are turned up higher, so shifting up later and shifting down earlier. It's of course a little bit more driving fun, also higher fuel consumption, that's clear, but this is also here then about the performance, of course. And slalom wise, for example, you couldn't guess it's an SUV, because it really has great handling, more has a handling of a compact hatch or so. Then here a stop sign, and that's, in this case also pretty nice, because then we can stop and see one there, accelerate out. Wow, really cool. I mean, how does this car push me out of the corners? I really love that torque split in the rear. It feels so good, and I mean, I read about the technology and so on, and it's really better than I would have imagined, so yeah, that is really so cool. Now we have some nice corners ahead, right here. It almost feels like a race car. I'm really, really impressed what Volkswagen R has done here. Also here, 100 kilometers an hour, still very good control also in slalom and like situations. And also the brakes are doing a good job, very well to control, exactly know what I'm doing, and can just stress again, that's really cool. By the way, lane assist, when you hit the left index finger column indicator here and then press once, okay, then lane assist off, because here I don't want anything to interfere with me, so I put the lane assist off, then I can have even more pure driving fun, and definitely the Tiguan R is delivering. 21-inch wheels, yes, you do feel them, when the road is even. They are great for sporty driving, definitely, but when there's like uneven parts in the road, then you feel the, more connection to the road, which is on the one hand desired for the sports model, yes. Oh, that was some bird poo, sorry about that. On the other hand, the thing is, I mean, you would have a little bit more comfort definitely with the 20-inch wheels, so I would advise you to stick with the 20-inch wheels. They also look massive on this car, just visually. That's actually totally fine. The 21-inch reduced the comfort a little bit, and for that addition to be a little bit better than for the visual part, I wouldn't really do that. The cruise control, by the way, if you go back to the normal mode, cruise control here, set it on the steering wheel, but again, it's not that intuitive to use as we would have the real buttons. By the way, here it's a little bit different than with the ID3, for example, where we also see this capacitive steering wheel. Resume and set, like this, resume 1 kilometer steps, set 1 kilometer steps back, and then when you had plus and minus, then you go 10 kilometer steps. So that's also the logic of the normal button steering wheel. This logic was different than in the Golf and in the ID3 we've seen. So not sure why they did the differentiation right there as for this respect. I really find it cool that we have the R mode directly to the steering wheel, so I don't have to do anything around here in the lower part, and then only get to this racy mode. So really cool. I think best is really this mix between sportiness and comfort. I could very well imagine driving this as a just primary car also for the family, and still have something to be able to play around with. And let's now hit ESC Sport together with the R mode, and let me show you the launch control just for you. Let's go. That was already 100. Nice. So I had to reduce the speed immediately now here. I also cleaned up the bird poo for you that was on the windscreen before. I'm not sure if you really saw that on camera, but just want you to have the clearest view from the exterior. So that also belongs into our production quality. So that was a very impressive acceleration, of course, from this all-wheel drive, even distribution, so you don't leave rubber on the ground. Gotta check the time code. How much was it? Was it really a little bit less than 5 seconds? Did that work? So yeah, but it felt very, very good. So I'm really happy with the performance of this vehicle, and the handling is just superb. So once again, I think you could really forget that you're driving an SUV with that. Now to our conclusion for today with the new Tiguan facelift, especially here the new Tiguan R. Well, the facelift made the front look a little bit stronger, and also in the interior there's new infotainment, so upgrades right there, and also new seats. But of course the special thing here is definitely the R version, most powerful, and an even stronger look right there in the front and also at the rear. And well, these massive wheels, so visually probably the most attractive and also the sportiest Tiguan ever. And I think it suits the car very well. Don't you think so as well? Interior, lovely sport seats here with the integrated head restraints and also sustainable and animal-free materials. So I think job well done with the seats. Also, we have the R button directly at the steering wheel. That's helpful. Yeah, but then capacitive controls, the rest of the steering wheel and also the temperature sliders. It looks cooler, but it's less intuitive to use. And also infotainment system-wise, the CPU should be a little bit more powerful. That would definitely help. Driving-wise, base Tiguan already was very good in the driving. The R, of course, here the sporty pinnacle now, especially with this torque vectoring that you can get a little bit better out of the corners. That is a lot of fun. Of course, you lose some comfort then with these big wheels and also with the stiffer setup here of the DCC. However, since it is an adaptive suspension, you still have somewhat of compromise between sportiness and comfort. A little bit better it will be with the 20-inch wheels, so I recommend you to stick with these. With the optional 21-inch, of course, there's less tire left for the dampening, but definitely overall a sporty, fun Tiguan, and yeah, one of the most desirable models they overall offer for the whole brand, definitely. Pricing, yeah, will be about 58,000 euros then, when you take approximate German pricing. That's of course really tough to swallow for a Tiguan and also in general for a VW. Only other more expensive model they offer is the Touareg basically at that point. Yeah, but for that you get basically the whole package. Do you think it's worth it? Let's discuss it in the comments. What do you think about the new Tiguan R? Join us there and also join us for other versions of the Tiguan and also for other VW reviews. See you there. Thank you so much for tuning in today.